Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Tasha. This is Tasha Pivots, and today we're going to talk about how do I keep our cup full. All right, y'all. It's been a year. It's a broken record, but it just was dear on my heart to want to share like how we are keeping our cup full in this season of uncertainty and unknowingness and just finding joy and hope through it all. And so for my family of four, we are all different light types. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I will give you a very short synopsis. I sat with my great friend who is a family life and marriage therapist, and we had a wonderful conversation live on my Instagram a couple weeks back about your Shine Your Light framework. And she built this beautiful framework that kind of distinguishes everyone's light types and how we all have all of the light types within us, but then it's broken down. And so to just be short, my husband is a moonlight, my oldest is a moonlight, my youngest is a sunlight, and I'm a starlight. And what does that all mean to you? Okay, so, and then there's one more that's called a firelight. So with a moonlight type, they're very reserved, very observant. They take their time in spaces. They're not, oftentimes people will think they're more introverted, but they are just more, they like to grow into their warmness of who they're around, if that makes sense. And then sunlight is the one that everything is fun. There's always a joy to them. They're excited. That is my youngest. And then a starlight is more like, I am very direct. I like, things to fall into order, into place, and all these different light types. And then there's fire, which they are just like, they either do something because they want to do it or they don't do it at all. So they're very decisive. And so if you want to hear more of that, please check out my Instagram. It's at Ashatal, and it's in the description below. And I'll even leave a little written note here so you can see it. But we were talking about that, and it has helped me fundamentally how I raise my children and how we kind of go in our space. So how do we keep our cups full in a global change? We are first allowing our voices to be heard in our home. Everyone being able to have a space to be able to say or feel or share how they're feeling in this season. Of course, my youngest has no real idea or concept that anything has changed. And I find, even though I could find that sad, because she'll never know what it was like before, I actually find peace in that, because then her emotions are not dictated upon change. Her emotions are just dictated on the fact that she's growing and she's expressing what she sees and what she's around, right? And then my oldest is a little bit more verbal, because she knows the difference. She sees that things have changed. And so I give her an opportunity to voice. So sometimes she'll voice it and be very blunt about the fact that, like, why do we have to go everywhere with mask on? Or why can't we go here? And if we go to this, is it going to be open, or do we have to stay a certain feet apart? Like, there's all these, constant questions. Even with my husband, I think for him, it's more so of like, it's just crazy. This is crazy. But out of respect of, like, we have been respectful for the laws and the mandates that have been placed in our state, but also being able to know that God gave us a sound mind and that we can make decisions that are best for our family and our family alone. I can't speak for your family. I can't speak for other families within our community, but for ourselves, we are not operating in fear. We are operating in faith, and we're also being respectful and mindful of what has been placed in our country. So all that to say, we first let our voices be heard. Second, I also keep our cups full by keeping our day flexible as well as flowing. I think it's important that we have some flexibility with our schedule. It allows us not to feel down or overworked. So like with subjects and things, like for homeschooling, I like to keep it where we only do 2 subjects a day. And that works for us because I am only primarily teaching curriculum to one child. And it allows me to spend time on that, like really enjoying that slow pace. and not feeling overworked or overwhelmed that we've got to fit all 5 subjects within one day. It allows there to be some flow and some moving. If she wants to do more, I am always down to do more, but I try to just be mindful that we have 5 days in a week. We typically do school Monday through Thursday, and we do 2 subjects a day. And those, when I mean subjects, it's like mathematics and language arts, or science and history, that type of block for that. Bible time is every day, and worship is every day. I always try to get them to be physical in some way or form, so they'll go for a morning walk or an afternoon walk if it's not too hot. And that kind of just keeps them on a rhythm. I think children do really well with schedules and structure, in the sense that it's a schedule that's made up for how you would, right? Like, I can't tell you what works for your family, especially if you have more or less children or you have different ages than I do. But for my family, we like a little bit of structure and rhythm to our day. So like, of course, we have like from 7 o'clock in the morning to about 12 noon, there's a little bit more of a schedule happening. And then the rest of the day has a little bit more movement. So we're not confined to like an 8-hour space, but it also leaves some flexibility, like I was saying. So like some days, if I have a doctor's appointment or we've got to run a couple errands, the great thing about being homeschooled is I can get up and leave. I'm not sectioned to being on a Zoom call or being mounted to a screen all day. My children are able to adapt and flow in that regard. So I said, voicing, and then a little bit of some structure with rhythm and flow and flexibility. The next thing is community groups. Community groups can be anywhere from 4 to 8 people. I've been trying to be mindful of that with the friends and the relationships that we've built in our communities, having that conversation of what works for that person and us. We're never in large groups of people, except for when you're in our local Target or Walmart, which that's always been a question mark to me, of how we can have so many people in a store, but we can't go to church. But that's life. But for us, I will always, have conversations, and we'll get together and we'll do like an outdoor activity, or we'll have lunch, or we'll go on a hike, or those types of things really fuel my children, even though I have more, like I was saying with my husband and my oldest, more moonlight types where they're a little bit more reserved. They don't have to be around people a lot. They are more introverted, if you will. And I have a little bit of introversion in me too, but it's still like not enough to be like, I just don't want to be around anyone. I think it's healthy to still have some contact. This contact-less world doesn't fit the mold of our family, and we thrive off of relationships. We thrive after gathering with each other and laughing and having joyous moments. And so I do have done that, where we'll have like a swim day, or we'll have all right, Mr. Pickles, he's joining in too. Just some things to do. And that's really been what's been keeping us joyful and excited about our days. I want my girls not to feel mounted or carrying a weight of what's happening, because I feel like there's this pool of anxiety that is weighted of fear on our children and even ourselves during this season. And I just am like, even if nothing changes, like God is still the same. We have each other, and we can build out what works for us. And so I encourage that for you. If you are at home and you've got multiple children and you feel like you've been mounted or secluded into a space for so long, and you're just trying to figure out what can keep your cup full, just look at the things that have been working. Look at the attitudes and the ways that your children are expressing themselves, and touch on those things. So I hope this inspired you. Let me know, what are you guys doing in this season that's working for you? Leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you're doing. I'd love to continue to engage with you. Give this video a warm thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Hit that red subscribe button if you want to continue to check out this video or these channels. And you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.